Hello. Uh, Today is the 20th of November 2023. So, the past weekend that has just passed has been very special weekend to me because I received the news that my mentor has passed away at the grand age of 95 years old. So he has lived a long, fulfilling life. Now, what do I mean by mentor for those who are unaware? We think about it. We go through life having a lots of mentors, right? Our parents are definitely our first one. They teach us how to, walk, how to talk, how to feed, and basically to survive, right? And of course, most parents continue to mentor us throughout our life. And when we go to school, we have teachers who mentor us how to learn and to gain the necessary skills and knowledge to be a good person. And we also have friends who mentor us on how to socialize and how to work well in the community. So many mentors we have, and it's important to feel appreciative towards them. And why this weekend hit hard is because there is one man who I consider to be the most important mentor in my life because he teaches me how to be a good human being, right? I mean, many people teach me many things and I'm appreciative to all of that. But the one that teach me how to be a good human being, I think you can agree, is one of the greatest lesson. So what happened is growing up, my father is not around a lot, so I do not actually have a fatherly role model. But one thing that my mother is not stingy of is to get us good books. So she actually have a lot of books written by Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, and I read them, all of them when I was young. And because his message of really how to live a good life, how to be compassionate towards others, and to not give up and be determined to make something of ourselves no matter our circumstances, I think it's really resonates and it really give me the determination to really become an outstanding person. So to me, he is the person that first tells me how to live as a good human being. So, of course, eventually I had the good fortune to actually meet him in person. He traveled around the world a lot to give encouragement to people. And in the year 2000, he actually visited Singapore. Not his first time. I think he visited Singapore a couple of occasions. That's his third visit. He's actually had dialogue with Mr. Lee Kuan Yew and Mr. S.R. Nathan. Pretty high profile dialogues he held with them. So in the year 2000, he was in Singapore and was a student in NTU at the time, freshman, right? So I was struggling quite hard in the university. I wasn't doing very well. I mean, after 2 years in the national service, I really couldn't. So I was, not the best student at the time, but I tried. And I was staying in the hostel. So it was in Boon Lay. So when he was arrived, we were supposed to have a meeting in Tampines. So I was traveling on MRT to the venue, and I was slightly late. I remember. So what happened is when I entered the hall at which he's said to be there, I was seated quite far at the back. But his schedule is very tight. So what we were told after I arrived shortly is that when he arrived, what we're going to do is we are going to take a commemorative photograph first. So we start to rearrange ourselves by height. So somehow, after we sort ourselves out and rearrange ourselves by height so that it facilitates the commemorative photo easily, I end up sitting right in front of the stage. So when he came in, And after the commemorative photo, when he sat down to speak, I was seated directly in front of him, pretty near, and I listened really intently to what he said, of course. So he shared many things. He encouraged us to really persevere and build a prosperous Singapore and be upstanding citizen. But he mentioned one thing in his speech, that he said he would really love, to continue to encourage us, and he will visit Singapore again and again and again. So when he said that, somehow made a little bit of eye contact. So it struck me. It struck me at the time quite deeply. Then I hear that promise. I was really happy for a short moment. Why? Because the initial thought was, hey, great, get to learn from him directly again, many times in the future. And then after that, got worried, right? Why I say that is because if I can imagine if you are a parent with many children, although you love all of them, the one that you spend the most time with is probably the one that's giving you the most headache and the most worry. Yeah, but that's a fleeting sensation. But I always remember this promise. But the reality is, at that time he's already at an advanced age. So he's a Japanese. So he returned to Japan from Singapore after that in the year 2000. And because of his advanced age, he was advised not to travel again. Yeah. So I kept that in mind, and I tried to understand why he made that promise, despite not being able to travel again. I'm sure he's quite aware of his advanced age and his health, but that promise meant quite a bit to me, because I felt it, and it took me a while to really understand what he meant. In the year 2007, I actually had a quite serious car accident. I drove, I collided with a bus head to head. Now, a bus is a huge vehicle, right? So after the collision, the airbag came out. I was knocked unconscious for a while, and I really that time realized in that flash moment how precious life can really be. Feel it for myself. So I wrote to him after that, and he replied, and the main message is he telling me to drive carefully. Now, how I interpret this is this, right? When we drive carefully, I'm sure it's not just a literal meaning of drive carefully, don't get into any more accidents, but it made me realize that the direction that I'm driving my life, how I want to live my life, is of utmost importance, and we need to reflect on how we are going to drive our life constantly. The next realization is, since I'm driving my life, I'm the driver, right? So if I'm the driver, I determine the direction. I mean, despite what the GPS tell you or otherwise. So we determine our own direction. That means that when he says that he will come to Singapore again and again, how does he come to Singapore again, right? He comes to Singapore when I inherit his determination and his compassion for the humanity, and when I do that, and I make a pledge to do that, it's equivalent to him coming to Singapore again. Because nobody will be here forever, right? And we need students or disciples to actually carry on our spirit if our spirit is good and pure. So that is the revelation that I had, that to be a good student, to be a good disciple is not really just learning from a mentor. We are not a student of our mentor. We need to be their representative, to represent them and live their spirit. So that was really what I realized, and that is how we can visit everywhere when our disciples, when our students carry on our spirit. So the key message here and key learning point here is that when there is a role model in your life that you really want to follow and really want to inherit their spirit, it is not enough to just learn from them. You have to live their spirit in your own life and represent them in your dealings and in your behavior and in your determination to make something of your life. All right, so with that, I hope everyone can find a role model that you can really inherit the positive energy and the positive spirit, and to live the best that you can. All right, all the best.